endured this. I'm very, very grateful that, as we all are, that no one was seriously injured. In fact, having seen the damage, it's quite a miracle that that no one was seriously damaged, no one was seriously hurt. It's quite remarkable because this happened at a time of day when kids were home from school and families were getting ready for supper, and it's quite remarkable that that no one was hurt and that people made it into their basements and were safe. So I wanted to that, and the reason that I wanted to come and see what had happened is that I want to make sure that we are available to do everything we can to expedite the repair, to make sure that we do everything that we can to help people to get their belongings and to get back into home. I mean, this is a traumatic thing to have happen to a community, but particularly to individuals and to families. As we walked around, you know, people's belongings are still hanging in their closets, and their furniture and their belongings are in their homes, and it's a very traumatic thing to have happen. So we want to make sure that we do everything in our power to get people back. So, for example, this morning we've confirmed that the electrical safety folks will be on standby to get those electrical hookups done as quickly as possible, and that was something that Mayor Dowdall was concerned about because we weren't sure what the timing of that was going to be. And so that's the kind of thing that we can, as provincial officials, we can make sure that we move those things along. The other thing I want to say is that I am so impressed, and the Chief and I were talking about this, I'm so impressed at the way everyone has worked together. And you know, that almost goes without saying, but it doesn't always happen. And in this instance, it has. Everyone has worked together, has pulled together, and that is the way the community will come through this in the best way possible. I also think that Mayor Dowdall is very wise and astute in his in the delivery of information to the community, and the acknowledgement that in a situation like this, people getting information on a regular basis is of utmost importance, because people who are out of their homes, who are traumatized, want to know that there is movement, and they want to know an update, and if something is taking longer than they expect, they want to know why. So the daily meetings that are being held, I think, are of paramount importance. So I am grateful, we are grateful to everyone who has pulled together. I had an opportunity to meet a couple of the families who were directly affected, and families who live in the neighborhood. And my heart is first and foremost with them and with their kids and with their relatives, because I know that this is a scary time as they wonder what the future holds. So on that, I will take your questions.
Will there be any provincial funding allocated to this?
So the mayor and I have been talking about that, and the Minister Nackley was in touch immediately after the storm hit. There is a process, there is provincial disaster relief funding that is always in place when one of these terrible incidents happens. But there's a process to go through. What's important is that we stay in touch with the community, because there have to be assessments of the damage that's been done, how much of it is private, how much of it is public, and I think that for the most part the damage that's been done in this situation is private property. But those assessments have not all been done yet, and so it's unclear what's insured, what's not insured. That's the work that's starting now. All of those assessments have to start now.
Is there a date that you expect the funds to start flowing to homeowners and things like that? 90 days, 60 days?
Well, again, it's impossible at this point to be able to assess what the costs would be that are not covered by insurance, and that's the conversation. We will stay very, very close to the municipality and make sure that as those costs become clear, City Council has been very, very responsive, and they'll make sure that we know exactly what those costs are. There will be no break in the communication between the on-the-ground work that's being done and the support that we will provide.
What did the residents say, Premier? What did they ask you or tell you when you
Well, you know what they said? What they said was that the response of the community and the first responders and council literally has been terrific. The people we spoke to were very, very grateful for the support that they've gotten. Obviously, they are, they're still in quite a bit of shock as to the impact that this has had on their lives. They're worried about the timing of getting back into their homes. Some of them have been able to go and live with relatives. Others are in other temporary accommodation. But it's going to take time. I mean, you can see from the pictures the degree of damage. The roofs that have been taken off, second floors completely removed. But what's harder to see from the pictures is that people's belongings and parts of people's houses have been displaced. So the debris that you see between the rows of houses, that debris doesn't necessarily belong to the house that it's next to, because it was flying all over, and there's a lot of dangerous glass and nails, and there's a lot of unsafe debris that makes it difficult for people to get to their homes. So of course there is a little bit of frustration about wanting to get back into their homes, but we have to make sure that everyone is safe, and when those houses are re-inhabited, that they are completely safe, because even some of the houses that look whole and look safe may not be. They may have twisted on their foundation because of the impact of the wind, the force of the wind. So that's why making sure that there are enough building inspectors, for example, to do all of those inspections is critical. My understanding is that the Mennonite Central Committee is sending relief workers today, and they will start. They're already here. They're already here. The Mennonite relief workers are already here, starting to deal with the debris. And debris is an impersonal word. I mean, there are kids' dolls that have been tossed out of their houses. There are very personal belongings that people will need to sort through now. So it's a time-consuming and painstaking process.
Were you surprised by the extent of